Good morning and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Shatanya Clarke. Early voting is underway for the November 5th election. While there'll still be various races across Texoma, there will be at least 10 items on every ballot across the state. As Wes Rappaport explains, they cover everything from the role of municipal judges to the possible ban of a state income tax.
We were able to work together.
When Texas votes in November, voters will decide on 8 changes to the Texas Constitution. They all stem from the last 140 days of lawmaking at the state capitol. Hurricane Harvey was top of mind, leading to a package of bills heading to the governor's desk on flood planning and infrastructure. And to pay for it, voters will decide whether to establish a special fund for the Texas Water Development Board to distribute money for flood projects.
There'll be much better planning on the front end now, infrastructure development, mitigation work. I think, something that really will make a difference down the road if and when, we have additional natural disasters and flood problems.
Voters will also choose whether to spend all of the state's sporting goods sales tax on state parks. To date, more than half of that money has been rerouted to other budget items in the last 25 years.
We've got to plan for the future. The current park system cannot handle the millions that we have here in Texas.
Also on the ballot, a measure to allow the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas to give out an additional $3 billion worth of grants beyond the $3 billion it's already allocating.
Well, I really see us as being at the forefront in terms of cancer research, which should translate into cures and certainly preventive measures.
Some of the other constitutional amendments for voters to weigh in on in November include banning a state income tax on individuals and a move to make it easier for law enforcement animals to be transferred to their handlers once those animals retire. At the Texas State Capitol, I'm Wes Rappaport. Back to you.
Wes, thank you. 2 more ballot measures to tell you about. One would allow the General Land Office and State Board of Education to each transfer $600 million from the permanent school fund's lands and properties proceeds to the available school fund each year. That's important because it would make available funds to school districts, but some worry it would upset complicated funding formulas. Another would allow the state to exempt precious metals held in a depository from being taxed as property, a move that follows Texas' new gold depository that opened last year. And as your local election headquarters or newsroom will be keeping an eye on several local races that may impact you at home. In Wichita Falls, city leaders are hoping to increase the hotel occupancy tax in order to pay for 2 improvement projects without burdening local taxpayers. The hotel occupancy tax proposition asks voters to approve an additional 2% tax rate to be added to a visitor's stay in a Wichita Falls hotel or motel. That money would help pay for improvements such as MPEC roof repairs, as well as lighting and sound improvements for Memorial Auditorium's Performance Hall. City officials believe the increase would bring in an estimated $550,000 annually, which would be used to pay for debt services for about $6 million in needed repairs and improvements. Now this morning, you can vote at the Wichita County Courthouse, Home Depot, and Sykes Center Mall until 5 p.m. For voting details for the remainder of the week, find that on Texomashomepage.com. And if you live in Bowie, there are several local races at your ballot box. Mayor Galen Burris is running for re-election. The former city councilor ran unopposed in November of 2017. She is running against Bill Miller. He previously ran for the city council seat for Precinct 3 East Ward, but was defeated. There are also 2 city council seats up for grabs. For Precinct 1, Michael Christmas and Deanna Higgins. The candidates in Precinct 2, Councilor Jason Love is facing Jason Johnson. For where you can vote on Election Day, we'll have that for you over on Texomashomepage.com. One Clay County School District is hoping voters give them the green light to fund several construction and renovation projects at the campus. Jaron Spohr takes us to Bellevue, where school leaders say the passage of a $4.5 million bond is necessary.
Shatanya, it's been more than 30 years since Bellevue ISD has called a bond election, but the superintendent believes these campus improvements will impact the future of the district. After 15 Bellevue ISD community members, parents, and teachers examined the facilities and studied facility data, they developed a plan that was unanimously approved by the board in August.
We found places that
were in need of repair. The biggest thing that I noticed was the science lab. To me, it's not adequate to prepare the kids either for higher education in the job market, in technology.
Now the school district is calling on the voters to approve a $4.5 million bond, the first bond to be voted on since 1983, to improve multiple areas, including safety.
Safer check-in area, a front office where we will have a double check-in for students or staff or anybody who might be visiting, where they check in and have a safer, secure check-in. Renovating our locker rooms, renovating a special ed room with a life skills area.
Superintendent Michael Quall says it was important to get the community's opinion.
The board wanted to make sure, as we started our journey of a bond election, to form a committee that gave input from our community to make the decision rather than the school district just coming up with a bond package.
Grunsyke says they are thankful for a school district that takes this so serious.
I think they're forward thinking and looking toward the future as far as improvement of the facilities and such, so that our kids can be productive citizens and they can go on and fulfill the dreams that they have for themselves.
And if the bond is passed, Qualls and Grunsyke hope those in the district will have something they can be proud of. If approved by voters, the $4.5 million facility improvement plan will require a total tax rate of $1.32 to $1.40, which is a net increase of 15 cents to 23 cents over a 2-year period. But that depends on the taxable value each year. That means if you live within Bellevue ISD and own a $100,000 home, you would pay $5 more taxes per month. Now, if the bond goes through, 48% of the debt service for the bonds will be supported by tax collections from Triangle Brick Company, which has made the school district a property wealthy district, requiring it to pay capture money back to the state.
Thanks, Jern. By the way, early voting for this bond issue will take place at the Bellevue ISD Administration Office. Still to come, now that Texas Republican Representative Mac Thornberry is set to retire from Congress, 6 people have announced plans so far to fill his seat, 2 of them from Wichita Falls. Hear from them when we return.
You know, I was taught sometimes when someone pushes you, you need to push back. For years, we've been at the mercy of tobacco companies peddling their product. As a state, we've suffered for it. We've done some things to slow them down, but they keep coming. And big tobacco isn't going away. They place profit over people, and that's not okay. They need to know who they're messing with. You ready?
It's the most authentic Asian super buffet you've ever seen. Grand Buffet, the largest Asian buffet in town. You'll be amazed at the fantastic selection and variety. Chinese, seafood, crabs and crab legs. They're big. And fresh sushi. Enjoy the only Mongolian buffet in town, grilled right before your eyes by our experienced chefs. Senior special, we have the best prices in town. Come hungry, leave happy. Grand Buffet, 4407 Kemp, just south of Target.
Isn't She Lovely Wedding Boutique is a personal, intimate experience to find the perfect look for your special day. We have dozens of designer styles for women of all body types and sizes. To ensure you a special experience, we are appointment only. Isn't She Lovely Wedding Boutique.
Hi, I'm Tanya Gillen, Director of Community Relations for Senior Care, Health, and Rehabilitation. Our friendly staff and on-site physicians create a personalized health care plan for each of our residents to ensure highest quality of care. Come experience the difference.
It's the Fall Roundup Sale at Cavender's. Buy 1 pair of Wrangler Retro jeans and get a second pair 50% off. Choose from a huge selection of Wrangler shirts at 15% off. Work smart. Save $10 on our entire stock of FR shirts and jeans. Get $15 off a huge selection of Justin work boots. And save $15 on Justin's tried and true bent rail boots. Save now during the Fall Roundup Sale at Cavender's.
As the 2020 election approaches, we now know a U.S. House seat held by a longtime Texoma politician will be up for grabs. On September 30th, Representative Mac Thornberry became the 6th Republican congressman in Texas to announce he is not seeking re-election. The congressman says it's time to turn a new chapter in his life after dedicating a quarter-century to people in the 13th district. Another factor, under Republican term limits rules, Thornberry would have had to leave his position as the top armed services Republican in 2021.
I will admit that the political environment today is not what I wish it were. It makes it harder to accomplish things. And the reason I ran for office was to do things, not just to spout off, against somebody on TV or something. I guess it made it a little easier to reach this conclusion, but the conclusion was because we've done it a long time. We've kind of come to a turning point, at least with the term limits and so forth, so it was time to try something different.
As far as who Thornberry would like to see take his place, he says in the end it's up to the voters and he's not endorsing anyone. 2 Wichita Falls residents are making their case to voters after announcing plans to run for Thornberry's seat in 2020. Derek Lowe introduces us to those candidates.
Shatanya, Kevin McInturf, and Monique Worthy are expected to file as Republicans, joining the list of candidates who are hoping to replace longtime Congressman Mac Thornberry. Both have different strategies on how to tackle the nation's problem, but they agree that the fighting in Congress needs to stop in order to get things done.
I want to bring healing.
That's why Wichita Falls community leader Kevin McInturf is launching a bid to replace 13th District Congressman Mac Thornberry, who is leaving office after 24 years of service.
I want to be a person who can go and represent the people here in North Texas, but also build bridges and mend fences. And this is my primary goal, and this is something I hope to do so that people up there in Washington can start working together again, start working as a bipartisan, group, and start getting things done that people care most about.
McInturf has a political science background, receiving a Bachelor of Science degree from Howard Payne University. He later got his master's in business administration from Midwestern State University. McInturf says he stands for the core Republican values, which includes that belief that government should be smaller, smarter, and more efficient.
But at the same time, I'm not here to say I'm not willing to work with Democrats, and I would invite people who are either Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, come check out my website, see what I have to say. I'm more interested in hearing what people have to say than me telling you what to do.
And right now, McInturf believes Congress can't get anything done because it's in a state of gridlock.
I just believe people are sick and tired of the fighting. Nothing's getting done, okay? And it's not getting anyone anywhere, all right? I'm just tired of it personally, and I think a lot of people are. If you're tired of the fighting and all the mess that's going on in Washington, and if you're ready for people to go there to work on your behalf, to bring some sort of civility order to things, vote for me, because that's what I plan on doing.
Also entering the race, Monique Worthy, who says that she wants to make Congress great again.
You got Democrats who want to stonewall, and you got Republicans who just sitting back like the nanny who just can't control the kids. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get up there and control some things. You know what I'm saying? Get some stuff together. Because it's stuff that can be worked on and should be worked on, that we just not working on because we too busy fighting.
Making her first bid for public office, Worthy says that she fell in love with politics during the 2008 election cycle when she became an avid listener of conservative radio talk shows while incarcerated. The Wichita Falls native says even though a majority in Black and LGBTQ community identify as Democrats, Worthy, who is also transgender, believes she is the outspoken, openly conservative candidate the 13th District needs.
Black people are Christian, mostly Christian, you know what I'm saying? And we mostly believe in things that the Bible teaches us and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? We believe in not spending so frivolously, we believe in thrift, and this is what our core beliefs in. Most of us, we don't believe in abortion. You ask any black person around, they want to keep their babies. It was a mistake, but, hey, we have to live with them.
Worthy says her political beliefs also include making sure those who enter this country do so legally.
They like to say they taking jobs that that Americans just won't do. That's not true. I know plenty of Americans who will get out there and work some construction and stuff like that if you pay them the right dollar.
Worthy and McInturf are preparing to file for spots on the ballot in November, while also getting the word out about where they are on the issues that impact Texomans. Candidates will begin filing for spots on the March 2020 primary ballot in November. The filing deadline is December 9th, and if you would like to see more of our interviews with these candidates, we'll have that for you over on Texomashomepage.com. Just click the Texoma Politics Now tab.
Derek, thank you. There are several other candidates who are planning to run in this race. First, we have veteran Vance Snyder II, who lives in Amarillo. He served 5.5 years with the United States Army from 2008 to 2013 and served in Operation Enduring Freedom from 2009 to 2010. Snyder says he's an average American who believes in true patriotism and the Constitution. Also in the running, Cook County Judge Jason Brinkley from Gainesville. He's on his second term as judge after serving 6 years as a Cook County Justice of the Peace. Brinkley says he's looking to preserve conservative values and goals for the future of the district. And Amarillo City Councilwoman and a small business owner, Elaine Hayes, is also exploring a bid. She has served as Place 1 Councilwoman since 2017. Hayes says she believes the district needs to send someone to Washington who will fight for life, liberty, term limits, a balanced budget, and secure borders. And according to the Texas Tribune, Texas Cattle Feeders Association Governmental Relations Director Josh Weingarner could also enter the race. He has worked in Washington, D.C. for Senator John Cornyn and former Texas Senator Phil Gramm, specializing in agriculture and trade policy. Two local state leaders are among those who have called for the resignation of Texas State House Speaker Dennis Bonnen amid taping scandal. How this may impact the Texas GOP long-term when we come back.
Carl Jr. Well, if it isn't Big Carl, you fixin' to sauce me up? Sick those beefy twins on this cheese hound. Scram, Big Mac. Go play with your extra toy bun. The adults are getting meaty.
Carl's Jr., you know what you want.
When emergencies happen, you want help now. You want ER now. Local doctors, short wait times, state-of-the-art technology in a clean, comfortable facility. When emergencies happen, choose ER now and get back in the game. Conveniently located at 4121 Southwest Parkway. ER now. Faces you know, doctors you trust.
You know, I was taught sometimes when someone pushes you, you need to push back. For years, we've been at the mercy of tobacco companies peddling their product. As a state, we've suffered for it. Oh, we've done some things to slow them down, but they keep coming. And big tobacco isn't going away. They place profit over people, and that's not okay. They need to know who they're messing with. You ready?
This is the nimble Chevy Trax, the versatile Chevy Equinox, the stylish all-new Chevy Blazer, and the roomy Chevy Traverse with seating for up to 8. The Chevy family of SUVs. No matter what you're looking for in an SUV, Chevy's got you covered.
Get over $4,200 below MSRP on this 2020 Equinox. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Carl Jr. They call you really Big Carl? Must be those triple-sauced meat heaps. How about you cloak me in cheese? Drape me in a 3-piece patty suit like a beef tycoon.
Carl's Jr., you know what you want.
It took Representative Dennis Bonnen more than 20 years to become Speaker of the Texas House. It took him 4 months to lose the job. A conservative activist secretly recorded the Speaker saying unflattering things. In case you missed them, we'll go through the list in a minute. It led to weeks of internal struggle, which took a major turn when he announced he will not seek re-election next year. Phil Prazen brings us the story from Austin.
The Speaker of the House is the most powerful person in the state you don't directly vote for. The person is chosen from the 150 House members each legislative session, so the Speaker needs support from 76 members to get elected, and Speaker Bonin simply lost support from too many Republicans to make the numbers work.
For the rest of the population, it might be something that would be easy to kind of forget as the days, weeks, and months would go by. But when you only have a small group of people who are in charge of your future and you have badmouthed them, lied about them, talked behind their back, and been proven to be completely duplicitous, they're not going to forget that.
Since early October, one by one, Republican representatives called on him to step down. The tipping point came Monday when 5 key members of the Speaker's own leadership team announced they no longer supported him.
Once you forget that your constituency is that 149 voters, those dogs will eat you alive.
Bonin's decision not to run could leave a vacuum for Republican power at a time Democrats are only 9 seats away from taking over the Texas House. Big money donors usually give to people in power. Bonin might not be able to mobilize campaign funds to successfully fend off Democratic advances, and the $3 million he has already raised could be tainted.
And now the money is maybe kind of in a lockbox. No one's sure if they either want to take it, if he'd be willing to spend it.
The House Democratic Caucus put out a statement saying Bonin made the right decision, and they'll continue to work to lead Texas to a better tomorrow. Phil Prazen, KXAN News.
The Texas Rangers are continuing their investigation into Bonin in the Speaker's home district. The Rangers' Public Integrity Unit is focusing on whether or not Bonin committed a campaign finance violation during his controversial meeting with Michael Sullivan. As for the details from that secret recording, in case you missed them, the recording was made in June and released a week ago. In it, you can hear Bonin organizing campaigns against fellow Republicans and offering press access to the Sullivan's group in exchange for campaign work against those Republicans. He also joked about a House member being a closeted gay man, called a woman vile, and took swipes at leaders from big cities. Some of Texoma's local representatives are also weighing in on Bonin's announcement. Representative Drew Springer of the 68th District said in a statement, after 48 hours of reflection and conversation with scores of colleagues and citizens' feedback from HD 68, it became clear the Texas House needed new leadership to heal and unify the Republicans to maintain a majority. 69th District Representative James Frank also releasing a statement on the future departure, saying his recent mistakes were egregious and significant and dramatically undermined the trust of House members and the public. Without that trust, it is impossible to be an effective Speaker of the House. Both representatives, however, did thank Bonin for his service. To further analyze the fallout of this, we're joined by political editor for the Texas Tribune, Matthew Watkins. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Matthew, we're just now learning that Bonin won't face criminal prosecution. Tell us a little bit about that update.
That's right. When news of this kind of scandal first broke, the House General Investigating Committee asked the Texas Rangers to investigate. The Rangers have completed their investigation into this case, submitted a report to the Brazoria County DA along with the legislature, and the district attorney said this morning that she did not see enough evidence to move forward with a criminal prosecution.
And Matthew, when you ask Texans what they don't like about politics, this Bonin situation may be a perfect example of what people hate. Now, that's backroom deals where politicians say one thing in public and another in private for political favors. Talk to me a little bit about the distrust here and how this could have a long-term impact.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because in a lot of ways, kind of the what happens in the legislature is not well known by a lot of members of the public. But this kind of thing can really be a problematic for lawmakers, not just the Speaker of the House, but for House members. You have secret recordings, you have deals being made. Like you said, it's kind of the worst stereotypes of politics. And we're in a campaign season where Democrats are hoping to retake the Texas House, and I think that they are hopeful that they can use this as to their advantage, as to kind of encourage voters to consider electing new leadership in Texas.
Right, Matthew, do we have an idea yet what role, if any, Bonin will play in the 2020 in holding the GOP seats?
Well, so Bonin has raised, millions of dollars. The last reporting period, it was $3 million that he planned to use to help House Republicans in elections. He still has that money. He can still spend it as he sees fit. But, the difference now is, he's at what we call a lame duck speaker. People know he's not coming back. So that kind of leadership role kind of goes away a little bit because, a lot of the power of the speaker is his ability to control the legislative session. If other people know he won't be there, then some of that power goes away.
And what about the Texas Republican Party as a whole? What is the mood the Tribune is hearing from GOP lawmakers in Austin?
Yeah, sure. I think the GOP is looking for other leadership in the Republican Party to step up here. We heard from Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, saying they were going to work really hard, make elections in the Texas House one of their top priorities. There is a bit of a leadership vacuum in the House because it'll probably be a while before we know who the next House Speaker will be.
All right, Matthew, thanks so much. Don't go away.
Thanks
One final word when we come back.
I started smoking when I was about 17, and I started dipping tobacco, and that didn't stop for years. Throughout the day, I could probably smoke 5 to 7 cigars, and I could go through about a can of dip a day. My son said to me, he said, "Daddy said, I want you to quit." My 9-year-old, in so many words, had to tell me, "Dad, you're letting me down." I can say I couldn't have done this by myself, and having that support from the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline was instrumental in my success to be able to quit smoking and continue long into the future not smoking.
Mike Markey will work for you.
Insurance companies are kind of like bad umpires. They're always lowballing. I'm Mike Markey. If you've been in a car accident, you're going to need a lawyer. You're never going to get anywhere arguing with an insurance company. It's kind of like arguing with an umpire. You're always out. Call me today. I'll make them pay.
Mike Markey will work for you.
I'm a businessman.
I'm a kid.
I'm a nurse.
I'm a mom.
I'm a granny.
I'm a cowboy. We have a place for you.
Bring your family and join us every Wednesday for Family Nights at First at one of our 3 locations.
Energy Secretary Rick Perry is leaving the Trump administration at the end of the year. His resignation comes as the White House grapples with the ongoing impeachment inquiry. Perry has drawn scrutiny for his role in the controversy, but he says it has nothing to do with his departure. Anna Warnicki reports on what's next.
Rick Perry has officially handed in his resignation to President Trump, and he says his last day here in Washington is December 1st.
There's never a good time to leave.
Energy Secretary Rick Perry says he's hanging up his hat and heading home to Texas.
The 3 things that I wanted to get done, got them done, and it's time for me to go.
The former governor of Texas is one of the longest serving members of President Trump's cabinet after leading the Department of Energy for nearly 3 years.
I helped the president do what I told him I'd do when he asked me to come on board.
He's done a phenomenal job.
President Trump praised Perry at a rally in Dallas last week, reassuring the audience that there's no bad blood between the 2 former political rivals.
I want to thank you, Rick. What a job you've done.
Earlier this month, the president blamed Perry for the midsummer phone call with the Ukrainian president that provoked the House Democrats' current impeachment inquiry. But Perry says his decision to leave came long before the comments.
For 8 or 9 months, I've been looking for the proper off-ramp so that I could go back home.
And he says he's looking forward to retirement in Round Top, Texas.
I get to go see my wife, my dogs, and my friends in Texas.
And says he's leaving the department in good hands.
We got a great replacement and Dan Bruette that's coming on board. The Department of Energy is going to be continually run in a very efficient way.
Perry says he doesn't plan to do much when he gets back home to Texas. He says at 69 years old, he's just looking forward to relaxing and spending time with his family. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki, KFDX 3 News.
For more details on the ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump, don't change the channel. Later this morning, Meet the Press moderator Chuck Todd will have the latest details from our nation's capital. Meet the Press airs here on KFDX at 9 a.m. Thanks for watching. Take care, Texoma.